Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes roster review. So we've got Mini Mike here of Battalion Bravos. Now Mike is a subscriber on the channel, and as you'll probably have seen, every time I do one of these videos I try and leave a thank you list to all my subscribers on Twitch. So yeah, thank you very much to you guys. I will do this one-off shout out. You guys, you really keep the channel going as far as just allowing me to improve things. So thank you very much, folks. So let's get on with the roster review and let's just show you what Mike has got. So, okay, so top and tail, no GLs as of yet. We've got a Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, and a Darth Malak. No gas, no JKL, but no Executor as well. So that's probably par for the course at this GP level, if we're being honest, so no big surprises. Okay, so as far as actual stats, we've got 3.486 million GP, a top 80 of 1.451, top 65 1.261, and fleet GP of 1.636. So my interpretation of that, GP, fair enough, that's just a general gauge obviously, but top 80 I think okay. We're probably just under half of your roster is your top 80, so that's not too bad. Top 65, that's par for the course you'd say, so yeah, I'm looking at that, I think that's good. Then when we look at your fleet GP, it's over your top 80. You're closing up, well, you've just gone over 1.5, you're going to start closing in on 2 million, so you're making good progress there. Zeta's 36, pretty solid, could probably have had a few more by now. I'm basing this off JJ, to be honest. JJ's around 2.3 million GP, I think, maybe a little bit lower, and I think JJ's a little bit, got a few more Zetas. Let me just double check this. JJ has got 47 Zetas, so you could do it up in your Zeta count, that's for sure. I mean, if 2.365, so 1.1 more than you, has got more Zetas, you could do with upping them if we're being a little bit brutally honest. 19 Gear 13s, again, maybe that's an area of improvement. I'm not saying that you should have 30, 40, 50, but just maybe a few more than 19. When we have a look at the breakdown, 4 Relic 7s, a Relic 6, 5 Relic 5s, 9 4s and below. And when I was typing this up, this next bit did stand out, that your speed mods, the top two brackets, the 25s and the 20s, they look a little low. By your GP range, I'd be thinking between 5 and 10 would be reasonable. 10 is certainly possible. So yeah, I think 3 is just a little bit low. Again, I'm going back to my baby account. I'm quite a bit smaller in the GP, yet I've got the same number. So if I'm still farming mods in the time it takes to catch me up to your GP, then I'd hope I'd get 1 or 2 more in that time. So that's all my logic is there. I'm thinking, could you boost those numbers? Maybe just pay attention to your speed rolls a bit more. Anyway, we're going to get into this a bit more. We're going to deep dive into what you've got, what you're working on. It could be that there's a reason why some of these things are happening. So let's go and have a look, shall we? Okay, so what I can see here, we've got a Relic 7 Vader. That looks nice. Got Relic 5 Bosk. Okay, quite a few interesting top tunes. So again, I'm not going to look at it like this. I get drawn into some things at times. We're going to go faction by faction. So 501st. Okay, not a lot of attention. I'm assuming gas is not on your immediate horizon. Okay, Bad Batch. No even little tiddlers investment there, so okay. I've said it already, I would advise working on Bad Batch as far as, even at 3-star with just putting the Zetas on. They've got some really good uses. You're not going to beat the biggest of teams, but take this instance for example. Yesterday in Territory Wars, there was a Relic Padme team that I took my 3-star Bad Batch with Zetas in against. Now, I did have to hunt this Padme team down. I was looking for the slowest Padme in the group, and I was just able to outspeed it. And yeah, it was good. You know, I think, okay, I did outspeed it. I didn't actually beat the team, but I managed to get it down to 3. So I'm taking a small victory there that I managed to survive a little bit. I got rid of Anakin. I think I got rid of Yoda maybe, but the other 3 were just a bit too much for me. But it's just that idea that they can punch up so well. So, again, I'm assuming you got them from the marquees. If you've got them, like, just sort of flashing in your roster, I'd promote them. Just get them to 3-star, about gear 7 or 8. Give them the Zetas. Again, Zetas may be a problem for you, though. Okay, so we've got the Bounty Hunters. Okay, so you've got a Relic 5 Bosk. Django's gear 11, Boba's gear 11, Mando's 10. Okay, so you should have Chewbacca at this point, or I suspect you do. Now, in your actual roster review request, you did say to me, should you go for Gas, 3PO, or GL after you got Malik? So we've obviously seen you got Malik, so congratulations there. And you also did say something about ships regarding, do you go for Negotiator 7-star or Malevolence at Unlock? So I'm assuming at this point you've gone for Negotiator. But again, we'll carry on looking. We'll leave ships for a bit. But as far as what I'm saying here, I'm looking and thinking you should have Chewbacca. I'm curious if you thought about Executor with that, though, for the simple fact Relic 5 is a very specific point to leave Bosk, assuming you aren't working on him right now. So, yeah, I'm curious. Maybe Boba, Dengar, IG, are they going to get a little bit of work soon? Okay, we'll skip the clones. We know what's going on there with them. Droids, similarly, we can find them later on. Empire. So, Vader. Vader did stand out to me. So, what have you got him like? You haven't put his lead on. Let's see what your stats are like with the mod you've got. So, 251 speed, 87% potency, and 6,990 damage. Okay, that looks like there's room for improvement. Speed with offense. If we're talking about the primary and the secondary, that is not bad. I'll come back around in a second. So 25 there with the crit damage. That's pretty nice. It's a nice mod. I've had this situation myself where I've rolled mods and I'm not exactly sure why. Yeah, because say this was at 9 before you rolled this to green. That means it was only 8 when you took it to 6E. So at best that means you had 1 roll on it. Well, yeah, you only had one roll on it anyway, but maybe you had 3 to 5 at best speed. So yeah, that bums me a bit because I'm thinking, what were you actually rolling it for? Was it protection for someone? I mean, if you got the protection, fair, but I don't really know why it's on Vader. So yeah, let's see, we've got crit damage, that's right. We've got speed, crit chance. Okay, so there's good stuff here. What I would say, if you're not running a crit damage set, you may as well put offense on him though. So if you're going for a speed set, you probably want an offense primary. And then you can hopefully slip an offense secondary in there as well, but maybe asking for a bit there. Okay, we've got health, offense, speed. Okay, pretty solid. Then finally we've got potency, I like that. Speed. Okay, defense is a little high for what Vader needs, but in the long run that could probably go... Well, I was going to say boss, but potency wouldn't really work on him. Yeah, maybe someone like Cara Dune in the long run. It's certainly down the road, but you know, that is something she would probably like. You know, a bit of tankiness, but also some potency. Okay, so I've said it before. The way you should do your Vader, you can go crit damage mod set with potency, crit damage triangle as a result, or you can go for speed or offense with offense triangle. Personally, I like the crit damage potency build, just for the fact that I think if you get more damage on your crits, it's better. But if you just want to take the safer route, go for flat out offense. I'm not judging it. I joke about Fat Kid and all that, but I do get the logic. It's just I don't agree with it. Okay, so no Thrawn Thrawn. We'll come to him. Actually, we'll come to him now. Let's have a look. What have we got him rocking at? 288. Okay, so I was watching Zareth the other day, and if you found me and you haven't found him, go check him out. How you found me and not him, I'm amazed at. But what I would say, Thrawn is becoming an interesting character in the sense I have said, and I will stand by it, The goal for Thrawn at this level is about 300. Now, Zareth the other day in the video I was watching was pointing out that Thrawn doesn't need to be as fast as he used to. So there was a point when you were trying to get your Thrawn to about 330 speed, I'm guessing. So really you don't need that much now. You probably just need about 130 on him. So get him up to 300 and leave it. And for the simple reason, there are a number of characters in this faction now that will help him. So Moff Gideon, for instance, you're going to gear 12, congratulations on that. 295, so already is faster than Thrawn. So get him to gear 13, he'll be over 300. So already Gideon can take that first turn, remove enemy turn meter, and then Thrawn will go. So that's one thing. The other thing, which I don't know if I can demonstrate, yes I can, Mara Jade. Now, you haven't got the Omicron. In Territory Wars, the Omicron will give Mara Jade the first turn. It does also take protection away, which is a good gas counter, but I'm looking particularly at this 100% turn meter. In Territory Wars, it means if you take an Empire, it doesn't matter, essentially, the speeds on your team as much as Mara will take the first turn and she will get the TM train going for Popper Palps. So if you line your cards up right, Thrawn's speed doesn't really matter as much, he's just generally quick. So if we're looking at it from this point of view, you could certainly benefit from Thrawn being fast. I mean, Mara Jade is pretty quick when she's at Rallic, I believe. But I look at it and I think, if Mara's going early, or maybe behind Gideon, then it doesn't really matter if Thrawn's a bit behind them as well. So yeah, Thrawn's an interesting one. I'd say you're not far off what you need. But I could completely understand now if your focus was on getting Gideon ready, because you've got Veers, Piet, Stark, Gideon. The only one you're really missing is Dark over here, and he will really make your team tick. In the meantime, you could maybe use Death Trooper. I'm not saying build him, but you could use him in a team. Shore Trooper maybe could do a job as well. Snow Trooper, so you've got options. But yeah, you've got the right one there with Gideon. Gideon will do some great stuff with the Imperial Troopers. And if at some point you decided, you know what, I want to put Gideon with my Empire team, you could then, you don't really need to worry about Thrawn then. So I find that all pretty cool. Out of curiosity, how's your Piet? 293, pretty solid speed that. With the Imperial Trooper tunes you've got some nice speed. So it was 295 on Gideon, then you've got 293 here, so you've clocked them quite nice as far as you've got Gideon, Piet, and then the train's going. It's at the station. So yeah, I like that. You could still get more on. I'm not going to say you've capped and that's it, but it's pretty well modded, so I'm not going to say you need to improve it. It's just it can be improved, if that makes sense. You know, the more speed, the better. Okay, so let's move on. We've got Ewoks. We have got Ewoks. Okay, so congratulations on the low grey. I will say that, okay? Low grey, I've said it a few times in these videos, he's a bit of a pain in the backside to farm if you don't go for him early on. So at least getting him to 7-star, even if he's level 1, congratulations. I said it last time as well, Wicket. Wicket is such a good farm for getting stun guns. So well done getting to 6-star, you've got more time to get into 7-star, more stun guns to earn. Chief Chirper 6-star, that one, even with the double drop rate, I found slightly annoying. I feel like I wasn't getting great drops, and there were days when I wasn't even getting drops. So maybe it was just me and that I'm giving anecdotal evidence here, but if you can get him to 7-star, kudos on that. As far as gear, they are quite annoying, I'm not going to lie. Having taken them to Rallic, what I will say, they like a lot of their own, the shared gear between them. So Chirper will want something that Alda's got, Alda will want something Paplu's got, that kind of jazz. So the best thing I can say, if you want to build them up for C-3PO, I would hoard gear. Either that, or I'd just do them one at a time and just close your eyes and just wait for it to be done. Because they are a good faction. People might mock it, you know, like, oh, but Ness can solo it kind of thing. If you put the Omicron on, I don't think she could solo. And besides that, I think if you use them on offense, they've got some great uses as well. with the army especially. So just things for you to ponder there. I'm not saying go and do what Crimson's done and take them up to Rallics, but just maybe don't misjudge them. That'll be the way I'll phrase it. Alright, First Order. Yeah, this all looks very hyperdrive-ish, so I'll nod my head and move along. Okay, so Rallic 7 Annie, Rallic 3 Kenobi, Rallic 3 Ahsoka, Padders as Gear 11 Double Zeta, very nice. You've got an army on Qui-Gon. My guess right now is that you're using Qui-Gon army in GA with these full. That would be a guess. The idea being Qui-Gon sacrifice, JK nukes. I know that the army's been nuked a bit. I know. I mean, I haven't said much on it on videos, but I don't think it's that bad. I mean, at the start of battle, if there are no Galactic Legends and all allies are Jedi, it's like... I think their intention originally was for it to not be used as it was against GLs. And I know the argument against that is, well, it was a bug, and I'm respecting the bug. But I think if the bug was making it so that you could do that, but then you take away the damage, it's like, well, you probably couldn't take on a GL anyway, so what's the problem? You know, I think it's just the idea that they've taken an option away from people rather than the fact that the option was even there, if that makes sense. You know, it's like, if you can't actually beat a GL with it, then what was the point of actually giving us the option? I mean, that's kind of where my thought process is going. But I'm digressing. I thought I'd just put my 10 penneth worth out there. But where's it? Qui-Gon's still got a nice army. I think I might do that next on Crimson. I'll have to build him up a little bit more, but I think it seems a solid enough Omicron still. It could take out a couple of teams, or it could annoy a couple of teams, so yeah, I don't think it's bad. But yeah, let's just have a check at your GMY. How's that looking? Quite a bit of speed. And quite a bit of offense. You could still get more, obviously. If we're talking about offense, I think GMY going up to Relic 7 gets about 11 to 12k offense as a target. So you're on Relic 5. If you were to apply a few more relics, 11 to 12k special offense is not an unachievable target. Yeah, you could probably sub out crit chance for offense if you wanted. You got an offense primary there, so that's solid. You got a bit of offense with speed there. Speed, offense, nice. So yeah, Yoda's looking pretty good. You got Shaq Zeta, so if you do want to use the clones in like a Tiddler capacity, you've got them. I did actually neglect that, but yeah, I've got Arch Trooper at 7 star, so well done there. That's an annoying farm to go for as far as stopping your Cantina farms, so well done. Let's have a look what we got. Geos. All gear 12, you got the Zeta, Queen's Will, I assume. Very nice. I'm assuming you can do the what mission? Very good. No Jawas. Jacko once again is the king of the Jawas on these roster reviews. Okay. You know, I'm saying that. I don't know if that... I remember I did a roster review a few weeks back for someone who got a massive account. I can't remember if he got big Jawas. I'll have to have a look back. If not, and Jacko's the prince. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. We've got JKR. How fast is he? 289. Pretty solid. Okay. Could be faster. I'll keep that caveat in there. I think before 6E to 6A was unlocked, about 303 was my 303 to 310 was my best speed on JKR. So if you can try and get close to that, you're doing good. Jolie, you got health mods, crit avoidance, health, defense, health. Okay. Interesting. You're halfway there. You've got the crit avoidance, which I like. What I would say, if you were to focus on 2 stats alone in this build, health and tenacity, and keep the crit avoidance arrow, you're on the right track. I mean, you got a bit of tenacity there, and a bit there. So I look at it and I go, you're not a million miles away, at least as far as what I think is a good Jolie build. What I'm going to say to people, right? If you watch my Jolie on Crimson especially, in any game mode, just see how often he gets crit. If we're talking about, you know, the bright yellow damage, see how often that's scored against him. Because I've been trying to keep an eye on it recently, and very often it's red damage or something other than a crit. And it's purely down to modding for tenacity, I find. So the more tenacity, crit avoidance arrow, the tenacity feeds into crit avoidance total via this. He has 100% tenacity to begin with, plus he gains bonus crit avoidance equal to half of his tenacity. So I repeat it, modding for health is not bad. Modding for tenacity and health is better. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, I think that's all we need to see here. Plo could do with a bit of work in my view, but each to their own there. Mandalorians, okay. Armor could do with a little bit of love. She's still pretty good without a lot of gear and just giving her a Zeta. It's just one of those things that if you want to try and cheese something, you can just slap Beskar ingots on someone. They could maybe ride out a battle. So certainly one to just keep in mind. And even without the Zeta, she can still do some okay stuff with the ingots without it. Night Sisters. Okay, so that is gear 10. That means you've got a nice functioning zombie, so congratulations there. The rest of the Night Sisters could do with a bit of attention. I was saying it last time to Inferno, or to Lady Helix. Sabine Wren's wife, that's her account name. Daka, build Daka up. Get some gear on either Asajj or Spirit. And you've got a pretty solid Night Sister team, because they're the two that keep it ticking over, really. Daka, I'd vote for Asajj myself, just for the fact that she gets stronger via a Rampage Zeta, which you haven't got. Daka via her Zeta. But I know there's an argument that Spirit puts up some crazy numbers at Relic as well. So those two, I know it's a bit of a weird one, but it's a minimal investment to make a team do quite a bit of work. So one for you to consider. Okay, Old Republic, pretty much where you'd expect them. Rebels. Okay, so Zeta on CLS gear 12. Gear 10 on Han and Chewie. Ezra's gear 11, that's high investment. Hera at 10 is high. You've got R2, 3PO and Chewie 7-star, well done there. If you make that boy a bit beefier, that team will get better. Yeah, from that earlier question you were asking, what I would say, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go for C-3PO. I'll double back to make sure, because you may be closer to a GL, you may be closer to gas, but my gut right now is saying if you build up C-3PO and Chewie, get Ewoks done, you've got a very nice CLS team in the making. Let's go to the Resistance. Let's leave your Resistance. Scoundrels. Okay, I'm looking for a nest. You've got a nest. Gear 9, 7-star. It'll do some work, that, so very nice. Again, a Zeta would be nice. It just gives, I believe, the ability to ignore taunt. I believe. I may be mistaken there. But yeah, Scoundrels, looking pretty much where I'd expect them to be at this point. Seppies. Okay, you Grievous. Let's have a look at GG. 125k health. Relic 3. I'd say that's pretty solid. I mean, again, I'm not one to talk. My Crimson one is pretty dodgy. But you've got the right primaries. You've got the right mod sets. I think with Relic levels, you could quite comfortably get to the right goal. So, what I'd say when you get the time, maybe worth an investment. Okay, how's your Dooku looking? 288 speed, quite a chunk of potency, touch of tenacity, I like it. Okay, so I'm thinking about what you were saying about gas. Asajj needs work. But B1, B2, they look on the way. Magna and Droidica, they need work, and I know from experience that they're very rough gears. But yeah, I wouldn't say you're a million miles away from the droid part. You're going to need a relic on B1 if you do it. B2 relic is helpful. Maybe not mandatory, but it's helpful. Magna, I would say, is very helpful. I'd put it close to mandatory. Especially when you've got JMK as a Relic 5 requirement, it's like, it's not a bad thing to take into Relic. And Droidica you could do with at least Gear 12 just so they gain some okay damage within the event. And the Sarge then, you could do Gear 12 just so she's surviving. But you're not a million miles away again from the droids, or the droid team you need. So yeah, let's just have a look at your Sith for now. Okay, so let's have a look at Malik. Tenacity. Okay, I'm going to pause here for a moment and I'm going to go to Darth Revan. There's a reason I want to look at something. And I need to find in the kit where it describes it. Okay, Ferocity. Minus 15% defense and tenacity per stack. So, this is something I have completely neglected. And again, that video the other day from Zareth really educated me on this. So, anyone who's heard me talk about Mallet mods before, this may be worth listening to. Yeah, so we've got tenacity per stack being reduced. So, when you think, right, all Sith Empire allies gain 5 stacks of ferocity for 2 turns with this one ability. Lord of the Sith. At the start of each Sith Empire ally's turn, they gain 5 stacks of ferocity for 2 turns. So, 5 stacks. They lose 15% defense and tenacity per stack. So, when you think about it, first turn, they've got minus 75% tenacity. So, we go back to Malik. Getting these mods is great, but when you think he is losing 75% tenacity on that first turn, now that still is 110% tenacity you've got, so it's not bad. But when you think, when he gains ferocity, which based on Darth Revan's kit he will gain, let's just review it again, because it'll be in here somewhere. Here we go. When a Sith Empire ally is afflicted with ability block or stun, they dispel that debuff and gain ferocity for 2 turns. Then, villain. I'm assuming it's in here somewhere. Okay, maybe not. Is it insanity? There is going to be some ferocity in here somewhere, I'm sure. Maybe it's just full stun. Maybe it's just full stun, 5 stacks. Point being, though, it's quite easy for Malik to get ferocity. So we're talking about that first turn. That's 5 stacks. You think to yourself, that is a lot to get straight away. And then if he does gain another 5 stacks from Revan doing his AoE, he's going to be losing another 75%, so he's minus 150% tenacity, which takes him down to 35. That's if I'm doing my maths right quick. So in theory, it isn't a good idea to mod for tenacity because he's just going to lose so much of it so fast. What you could probably do with doing, and I'm shouting out Zareth here because he's the one who pointed all this out. Mod for protection. Make sure that he is, as the class states, he's a tank. So put all the protection you can on him. Make sure that no matter how much defense he's lost from that same from the same ferocity, that there's so much protection that he's got to chew through. That is the way I think I'm going to be doing it moving forward. I've got to do a remod, but I think going forward it will be the way to go, because I just think it's something that actually does make sense. I mean, when I bring up these things, I do think it's because there is a logical explanation for it, and I actually do believe this is logical, because if it was just one turn, I could kind of get it. You know, it's like, you know, if you're talking about minus 75, you think, okay, 110, that's still not too bad. But the fact that you can gain more stacks of ferocity, it's just going to wipe out whatever you mod him for. So you may as well mod for something else that can't be neutered. So I'm in agreement with protection from Zareth. I mean, the only other thing I'd say maybe you could add instead, besides protection speed, is probably damage. And that's just purely because Drain Life, you gain 35% offense per stack. So if you mod for offense, you're just going to be building that number up. But is it necessary? Probably not. And I think Zareth himself actually said maybe mod for potency. So there's plenty of options, and I think this is something that I'm still going to be toying over, so I can't give you a definitive answer of what I would suggest. But protection, potency, speed, offense, I think they are all much better than going for tenacity right now. Well, I say tenacity right now. I think the only time to mod for tenacity is in 3v3. Because chances are then you can afford to put Malak on his own. And if he's on his own, then yes, he will need tenacity because he doesn't gain ferocity. But if you're going to be putting him in a Darth Revan team, which tends to be quite a lot, then yeah, just mod for defense. Well, defense as in protection. So yeah, not just Mike, anyone who's out there, let me know what you're thinking, because again, it was quite illuminating listening to that. Anyway, I'll move on quickly. 335 on Revan, that looks very nice. Another one here from Zareth. I feel like I'm copying his playbook here, but honestly, he spoke a lot of sense, so I'm just regurgitating. I'm trying to inform the masses being the few people who watch my videos by comparison. The Force shall set me free, or the Force shall free me. Sith Marauder has 10% defense, 10% health steal, and 10% tenacity for each buff on all characters. However, you think to yourself, okay, they're going to get a lot of debuffs on all characters. Sith Marauder, crit chance, offense, potency. So, would it be worth actually modding for offense over crit damage here? Just for that simple reason. Again, if you're going to use him in a Sith Empire team, he's gaining a lot of offense. I mean, each stack of ferocity counts as a debuff. So that's 10% offense from just one toon, 50% from the entire team. So you mod that for offense over crit damage. That offense is going to shoot through the roof. So again, just something to consider there, especially when you think about the other side getting debuffs in the battle as well. As far as the other stuff, there won't be a lot of buffs to my knowledge in a Darth Revan match. What you could do though is if you do plan to do a kooky Darth Marauder team at some point, where you do say Maul lead with Dooku, Sith Assassin, that kind of jazz, then it's maybe better to mod differently, maybe mod for defense, because Marauder, despite being an attacker, can be a great tanky character if modded with being in a buff heavy team. So, two ways to mod. I just pointed it out because I think crit damage is probably the wrong way to go here. But, like I say, that's just my reaction to hearing that video recently. Okay, Bastille Shell and Fallen here. 289, pretty solid behind DR. Enough said there. So yeah, we've actually gone through them all. I don't think there's much else to say based on that. HK is just chilling at gear 11. So, the question that I was asked, which farm to go for next. So, your Padders could do with a bit of work if you're going for gas. Your Shack could as well. But you aren't a million miles away because it's just them two tunes really plus 3PO. So, I think that just screams out the Murder Bears are the way to go. I know they're a pain, but I view it as short-term pain for long-term gain. And not only are you going to get the Ewoks here, but you also have the option to go for CLS and get a nice CLS team. Or you can go for the gas tunes. Me personally, in your shoes, what I'd do is I'd actually build your CLS team up first. For the simple reason it's a much easier farm. So that way you've got a nice functioning team that can do great on offense and defense. And you've got something to use in the short term whilst you're building up your gas tunes to get gas unlocked. Because don't forget, you've got to build your clones up there as well. So I'd say that's a couple of things to tick over on. As far as GL farms, I wouldn't personally go for one. The one I might tempt you over it is Executor, for the simple reason, if we look at what you've got, Bounty Hunters, Boba, 7-star, you would need Relic 8 mats, but I don't know if your guild's getting them or not, but there's other ways of getting them besides just Crankor now. Dengar would need some gear, obviously. IG, CAD for his ship. You would need to get Beskar Mando, which is another issue. How are you on that front? Let's see. You got Mando at 7. You have got Kara at 5, Queel at 3, Grief at 2, IG at 3. So you'd need to work on those 4 tunes. Bonus points though. Grief and Queel both have a pilotless ship on their node, so they are good investments. If you were to say, right, I don't really care about BAM, I don't really care about Executor, I would still be pushing you to farm those 2 nodes for that simple reason. You go and get 2 ships from it. So that'd be one thing. But if you, in all honesty, doing IG11 and Kara, I mean, we're getting Kara shards right now, so it's not quite as hard to get her to 7-star as we're talking. But IG is on a low node. It's not that hard to farm him. So honestly, I wouldn't be against advising that as well. I mean, I don't want to push you on to doing 2 farms. I don't say go for 3PO and go for BAM. But depending on how you feel, you could do 2 at once, as far as maybe get Ewoks geared up but then farm the shards for this farm. Again, let me know what you think, because it's a stretch farming 6 characters at my count anyway. I mean, Chirpa's Cantina, Wicket, you've got a hard node. Grief for the ship is on a fleet node. Queel, Kara and IG are hard nodes, so you'd be farming 4 hard nodes, a fleet node and a Cantina node. So it wouldn't be easy. Thankfully, Cantina wouldn't be long because you're nearly at 7, hopefully. But you would probably have a bit of fleet farming and a bit of hard node farming. But that'd be the way I'd go, I think. Just try and get BAM, and then from BAM you could get Executor. I don't know how far you're off from Razor Crest. Let's have a look. Well, even if you got Razor Crest, I wouldn't see it because I can't actually tell if you got the shards or not. But you're not doing hard mode conquest, so if you like how I was before I could do it, your shard income on those tunes is very low. What I'm hoping is that in the next week or so, CG are going to announce the next conquest tune, whatever it might be, but they're also going to say what happens to Razor Crest, because that has been in the game now for a year nearly. They said that conquest tunes would be conquest exclusive for a year and then they'd move somewhere else, so I'm hoping within the next few weeks they do tell us, because Razor Crest is so important now that people need better access to it. I mean, I'm saying the same about Cat, about Maul. I want to know where they all end up, but in the short term, Razor Crest is something you could be going for, and it'd be nice if you knew where to go for it. As far as what you got, by the way, I did notice your arena team and your arena position, so well done. You seem to be holding your own nicely there. You've got the BTL Y-Wing, so you don't need to be double noding that with Wrecker. You've got Ahsoka and Anakin at good stars, so very nice. That was a tricky farm, I imagine, so good doing there. Rex, 6-star. Do with a little bit of love. I know Zeta's are tempting in that fleet store, especially when you haven't got a high number. But if ever you see that, try and hold back 400 fleet currency. Just try and hold it back, and that way if you need it, you can get it. Negotiator's coming along nicely as well, so well done there. Did you decide to double dip? You did, you double dipped. So you've got Malevolence at 5-star as well. You've got the one pilotless ship at 7, the other at 6, so well done on both of those. So yeah, you're looking very good in your fleet. I suspected it when I saw your fleet GP, so all I can add is well done for making good progress there. You've got Executrix at Relic as well. I didn't see you talking that. It didn't stand out to me. As your Empire faction. You got your bomber. So actually you don't need to do Queel for that reason. Sorry, I apologise for that. If anything, I've just given free advice to other people. Go and get Queel and Grief if you haven't got them. But yeah, you don't need to go for that node for that reason. You could actually just go for the hard node if you wanted. Oh no, you'd still be getting TIE Bomber shards. I'll take that back. Yeah, you'd still need the TIE Bomber shards because Queel's only on one node. But if you're farming Emperor Shuttle, well done on that, because that is such a side farm ship. I've got to give you praise for going for it. If you could give TIE Fighter Pilot some gear, then you would have a half decent mini fleet at least. Ideally, you could get the Reaper and the Gauntlet Starfighter as well, but the tunes for those are rough. I mean, Death Trooper and Shore Trooper aren't bad for the Reaper. I don't mind, in principle, going for them, even though they aren't easy to get. But when it comes to Gar Saxon Imperial Super Commando, ooh, I'm not looking forward to that one. One day I will probably bite a bullet and go for them, but it is not this day. So yeah, summary is, because I've been talking for a while now and I think I've hit the bottom note. I think you've got a few paths in front of you. I'm actually curious what you're going for, because I'm assuming by now you've actually got an idea in your head. But what I would be saying, Ewoks would be a good goal, because then you could go for CLS and latterly gas. If you didn't want to go for 3PO, you could always try and get your BAM tombs up and go for Executor, because you've made great progress on fleets, so Executor would not be a bad shout. It'd be something that would be like a natural flow for you. So yeah, that'd be my thoughts. But let me know. Anyone in the chat, and that used to be on Twitch here. Anyone in the comments section who is just watching and thinking, what would you do? Shout out to Mike what you would be doing if it was your account, because I like viewer interaction. I like people saying what they think. So yeah, give us a shout out. Tell us what you think. Alright, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've all enjoyed. If you've got a roster review in the pipeline, I'm sorry it's taken so long. We've got quite a long list at the moment, and I'm trying to record them ahead of time, but I'm failing. I'm recording this on the day of release, so I am honestly trying my best to get them out there, but it's not going as smooth as I would like, so I'm going to have to book a slot in my week to record this earlier. Alright, nothing rambling from me. Catch you later, folks. See you in the next one. Bye for now, everyone.